Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO DPC Technology, and today we're going to talk about the Parrot Teleprompter and whether or not it's the right piece of equipment for you. So we've been using the Parrot Teleprompter for the past few years now. It's a great little piece of equipment. So we're going to go through kind of the features of it. And then at the end, we're going to kind of sum up who we think this is for and who we think this is not for. But first, smash that like and hit the subscribe button, and let's get right to the video. Okay, so let's go over the device itself. It comes in three parts. There's some step-down rings that actually help it fit onto the front of the lens. Depending on what size your lens is, they come in different thread sizes. So like this is a 49 millimeter, and it goes all the way up to 82 millimeters. So you can put the appropriate one for your individual lens. Then there's the teleprompter housing itself, which is basically just a piece of glass that goes in front of the lens, and your phone goes in the lower part of this. And then there is the remote control that will work the speed, so you can speed up and slow down the text as it's coming across the screen. So on the remote control itself, the up and down buttons will speed up or slow down instantaneously, and the left and right buttons will speed up the overall flow of the text as it's coming by. So if it's just going too slow in general, you can speed it up a little bit, or if you're just falling behind a little bit, you could slow it down and catch up, or you could speed it up if you're going a little bit faster than the words coming across the screen. As far as the physical device itself, it isn't this is just kind of plastic. It's not the world's most robust build, but honestly, for what it needs to do, it's really light. It hangs on the end of the camera with no real issues. And for $99, it's kind of hard to beat the system for what it does. There are some physical limitations of this. I think once you get a little bit past 24 millimeters, somewhere between 30 and 24 millimeters on a full frame camera, you will start to see the edges of the teleprompter itself in the frame because it fits right over the front of the lens. That is kind of a little bit of a limitation, but honestly, it really doesn't seem to impede much for us. You can't frame quite as wide, you have to zoom in a little bit more. But overall, I think the build quality is pretty well done. And for $100, I don't think you really have much to complain about. As you can see here, the stepping rings just thread onto the end of your lens, and then you can slide the teleprompter down over the stepping ring. Once the teleprompter is on the end of your lens, then you just slide your cell phone into the end of the teleprompter. So on your cell phone, you just bring up the Parrot app. As you can see here, I've got some scripts already loaded from past videos, but if you wanted to add a new one, you just click the plus button. I would title it, and I typically just copy and paste. I'll either email myself or I'll send it over to myself in OneNote, and then I'll highlight it all, copy, and I'll paste it right in on the script there. And then you just click save, and you can see it will show up under scripts. Then you just click on it and you will see it just loads up the script and it's ready to go. You can click on the little gear and speed up or slow down. You can make the text bigger or smaller. You can set your margins just so that it looks better inside of the screen. You can also see there is a connect to Dropbox option so that you can just connect right into your Dropbox and load a script. That's really all there is to it. Now you just slide the cell phone in the lower part of the teleprompter, pulling down on the two tabs, sliding it in, and you're ready to go. Once you have the phone inside of the teleprompter, you might want to click the gear again and just double check your margins to make sure they look good inside of the teleprompter. If you're not already in mirror mode, make sure you are, because with it being a reflection, it needs to be mirrored. And that's pretty much all we do, and then we're ready to go. As I mentioned before, that with the remote control, you can start playing the script. You can also use the left and right buttons to control the overall flow of the script, and the up and down buttons to instantaneously either speed up or slow down the script. I have to say that the remote control is a really nice feature of the system, especially if you're filming alone. The ability to stop, fast forward, rewind, start all over with the remote control really does make this a much easier solution to use when you're filming by yourself. It's very simple to set up the remote control. You just basically go into your phone, go to Bluetooth devices, click add a Bluetooth device, and there's a little button on the back of the remote control that you can just push. It's actually too small to do with your finger. You kind of have to do it with a pen or a screwdriver, but it will just automatically pair to your phone. Then you go into the Parrot app and it just automatically works. Very easy to do, very simple to set up, and it just works. Okay, that's a wrap up of the system itself. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to kind of go over the pros and cons of it and say who should buy this and who shouldn't buy this. Like I said, the system really works. There are some pros and cons to it. So the pros are, number one, you're going to not repeat yourself. If you're not really comfortable in front of the camera, it's a great way to get started going creating content. Especially for a business like us, we create a lot of blog content, so it's really easy to take written words in a script and then just read them. I also think it helps you stay on subject and not repeat yourself as much as if you're just going to kind of talking off the top of your head. Another big advantage is it definitely takes less time to record when you're reading from a script. It also takes less time editing when you're reading from a script. Obviously, if you're creating content in a business, time is money. So if it takes you less time to actually create the content, you can create more content. I think that the $99 that you pay for the device is a really big advantage. I also think that it's a big advantage if you have multiple people making content. So in our channel, there's 4 or 5 of us that make content. Some of us are more comfortable in front of the camera than others. I think if you're a business trying to make a lot of content and you have different talent in front of the camera with different levels of comfort, I think it is a nice way to include everybody and make them more comfortable and more efficient creating content. I think another big pro of the system is the remote control. I think it works really well. I don't think there's much of a learning curve, so a novice can be really comfortable speaking to the teleprompter without much experience at all. And finally, I think the physical system itself really works quite well. I don't notice any physical quality difference in the image. The only drawback that I see from a physical standpoint is that if you are trying to shoot wider than, let's say, 30 millimeters, you are going to get some of the teleprompter in the outer edges of your image. So that's the first negative, is the inability to pretty much go below about 24 millimeters without actually seeing the teleprompter. The second con is going to be the cost. It is $99, so it's not really expensive, but it is a cost to absorb. And the third, and kind of the biggest one for me, is you sound robotic. It can sound unnatural when you're reading from the teleprompter. It's great if you don't know the content really well, but I kind of feel like if you know the content, you're probably better off taking a little bit more time, doing a few more takes, and saying it in your own words. But that's just me. I really think there are 3 different styles of talking to the camera. There is completely scripting it, and the Parrot is great to start off at that level. And I think that that's probably where most people start, is just completely scripting. Then there's kind of an intermediate step where you do an outline, and I think that's where most of us work. And I think an outline can work really well with this system. So you can put maybe 3 or 4 bullet points in front of the lens at any given time to make sure you cover those topics, and then scroll down to the next while still kind of speaking in your own voice. And then I think the far extreme on the other side, and this is kind of where I lean a lot of the time, is you just wing it and you just speak, and then you just edit it out and post. And I think that there's an evolution. I think it's harder to just speak and wing it, but I do think at the end of the day, I think those videos tend to sound the most authentic. They probably are the videos that do the best at conveying your ideas. To sum all that up, I think this is a great device to get if you're just starting out. I think the $100 will save you some time. It will gain you some confidence, and it will help you look straight into the lens and be comfortable talking straight into the lens. I also think this is a great device if you have multiple people that are going to be on your channel. Their comfort levels may range. It is a great way to get the less comfortable people actually in front of the camera creating content, which at the end of the day for us, that's our goal. I think those are the people that will really use it. I think if you're already comfortable speaking to the camera and you're just looking for something that may kind of speed up your workflow, I don't necessarily know if this is right for you. If you are that kind of person that maybe just needs an outline because you start to maybe go off topic sometimes and repeat yourself a lot, maybe it is right for you. But I certainly think if you are comfortable speaking to the lens and you have been making videos for a while, this probably isn't the right product for you. I hope as always that you found this video of value. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or you want us to test anything out with the Parrot system, please leave them in the comments down below. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.